Hi everyone. As promised, I'm making this video introduction to Google Classroom, and let's get started. First of all, you'll have to get to Google Classroom application. You can just log into your Google emails. As you know, probably Google Emails is actually a Google account that allows you to use all of Google apps such as Google Docs, Sheets, Forms, Google Meet, Gmail, and Drive. You have free drive space under Threezo domain, so use it to share stuff with students. Don't clog your personal emails, and also keep everything in one place. The application we are speaking about today is Google Classroom. So normally, if you click here on Google Apps button and scroll all the way down, you'll find it. If it doesn't show for some reason, sometimes happens, you can just type the URL, the link, classroom.google.com. That's all. Okay, so right now I don't have any classes, so I'll just create a class to show it to you how it works. Let's create a class. Class name Google Classroom intro. You can add some additional information for Threezo faculty, whatever. I'm now sitting in photography room. You can add also the room. Photography. So students know which room you're teaching. Create. Just checking it's recording correctly. I hope it does. Okay. Okay, so let me quickly show you around. From time to time, you will get this kind of notices from Google when it will show you some new features or point out things. But I'll just very quickly make an overview of what we have here. I have just created a first class, and inside a class you have all of the information and this like header that you can edit, image, text there, and everything. Then below it we have the stream, which is basically like the news feed of your class. You can add announcements. You can allow students to comment back or to also write announcements themselves if they need. You can manage all of that in settings. So how your things, or actually stream settings from here. Ciao Pietro. Vai tranquillo, io sto registrando un video per voi, per insegnanti, quindi vado avanti. No, tranquillo, non mi dai fastidio.
No, visto che non c'è più nemmeno la libreria.
Ok. Ok, al posto ti serve Tamara.
Tamara, ok.
Okay, sorry for the interruption. So in the stream settings, where was it? Stream. Okay, you can choose students can post and comment, students can only comment, only teachers can post and comment. That's really up to you. All of it is pretty much customizable. So, all of the class settings, you will see there are a lot of different things you can do. So just to test, let's write something. Hi all. Welcome to this class. You can add files from Drive, videos from YouTube, upload files from your computer, add links, format the text if you need, and then post. Just like an email, more or less, which is very nice. You can like add notes, like add a presentation that you have shown during the class, and you can do a lot of things with just stream itself. So that's the stream. Okay, then people can comment or if you allow. Speaking of people, let's see how do we add people to this course. So right now we have only one teacher as a kind of participant of this course. We also have students, and right now this section is empty. So we'll need to add some students, and you can also add more teachers. Okay, I'll try to. Well, actually, I mean, this is pretty much straightforward. Just invite someone from the staff, and then they will be able to do the same things you are essentially able to do. So let's add a student, which is more important. You will see how it works. You can send a link to someone, or you can just invite them by email. So if they have a Gmail, you can just invite them like this. You can just type in their Gmail here. If they don't have a Gmail, then maybe it would make more sense to send a link. Ti do fastidio parlando? Ti do fastidio, mi senti da lì? No, ok. Sto registrando un video per voi, quello che ho promesso.
Sei in pausa un attimo?
No, non posso fare pausa. Fra 20 minuti. Sorry for the interruption again. Okay, so just copy the invite link, send it to students, and then you know with their university emails or whatever, and then they will figure it out. They will have to log in with their personal Gmails, or they will have to create one. If they have problems creating a Gmail, then you can go back to us and we'll create them a temporary Gmail with under Strizza.org domain. So there is always a workaround. So I'm just adding myself, my personal email. It's a Gmail, and I'm clicking on invite. That's all I need to do to invite someone if I have their Gmail. Then we'll need to see what happens on the student side. So you have invited someone. How does student see it? Go in here, inbox, one new email right to updates. Voila. Class invitation, Google Classroom, intro for Strizza faculty. Join. Okay, here it asks me, do I want to continue with Glebstürmer Google account or switch to another Gmail? Sometimes, like in my case, I have many. So sometimes students, I believe at this step, if they don't have a Gmail, then they will, be asked to register or to switch to different Gmail that rather than the email you have used to send them the link to. Join. Okay, and now we are in the classroom of the same class, but we have the student view. What's the difference? Well, you don't have the settings, so you cannot manage the class. You don't have the settings here, you don't have the settings there. Only the essential part of information. You still can have access to classwork and people. Obviously, you cannot add any people. You can just probably see the list of other students, and I don't know if you can even do anything with like contacting other students or something, but maybe you can. Don't have a lot of experience seeing it from the other side, of a student perspective. This is the classwork. You'll see it right away, and then the stream. Now my class is set so that I can also comment as a student, hi teacher, and post. But again, that's something you can set up in one way or another. In a course, there can be also a role of administrator, a bit of a kind of secretary or something like that can also leave messages. So it's not only teachers, I believe. But okay, that's all for now from student view. Let's go back to teacher. Okay, so that's how we add people. If I refresh it, you will see now I have one student. Okay. One important thing that I've already asked about is how to use Google Meet. So let's see this part. To use Google Meet in your Google Classroom, for example, if one of the students has COVID and they follow the course remotely from their apartments, you can give them access through Google Meet. Google Meet is a very cool thing. There is no limit to how many people can connect. You can connect from phone, you can connect from your from any device. So this summer I was connecting a student with my phone and also the widescreen, and I was sharing the camera on the phone when I needed, and on the the screen of the webcam of the computer when I needed a wider perspective. So with the phone, you can actually because we're doing like manual stuff. So I was like taking my phone and like really showing you from close-ups, like you see what we are doing. This is what students are doing, and she really was able to follow the class at every step, which is pretty cool, and you can do it with Google Meet. So let's create a Google Meet session. I'm clicking on generate link. So this link is unique to your class. You can reset it from time to time so students don't use the old one maybe, or they might keep it a tab open. So just good practice is to reset it from time to time and to always end the class and the call kind of for everyone. You can make it visible or invisible to students. So when you use it, you make it visible. When you don't use it, you can turn it off and students cannot go there. So just try it out and you'll see what works best for you. I'm now making it visible and click and save. Okay, so now I can join this class. It wouldn't allow me to use the webcam because it's already used by my video registration application, video capture. So I'll just click join. Okay, so this is how it looks from my perspective as a teacher. I will show you around in a moment, but first let's see how it looks from student perspective. Now, this thing has just appeared because we have made it appear in our settings on the teacher's view. I'm clicking on join as a student. Okay, I'm muting my microphone so I don't have an echo, and I believe I'll have to also turn off the sound of my computer so it doesn't make an echo too. Hoping it still, it should still record the audio. Join now. Okay, so now I see it from student's perspective, and you can see that the teacher is speaking because it's all on the same computer. Sorry, that's the way how I can show it to you from every perspective. Okay, so let's go back to the teacher and see what options we have here. So what I can do is, first of all, I can see the students. I have the list of people. I can mute them if I want, or I cannot unmute them, but I can mute them if they make sometimes students forget to turn off their microphones and just makes white noise, stuff like that. You can just mute them. Or mute everyone so you can talk. You can add people, you can search for people if you have many, and you can chat. Sometimes it's very useful if you have multiple students or even one student remotely, and you want to share a link, for example, while talking, or add some note so they can save it. Then you can type it here. Then you have a whiteboard, pretty nice feature because it allows you to really, draw something like an actual whiteboard. I'm not going to show it to you because it's just a waste of time. It's very straightforward. You can figure it out yourselves, hopefully. Then you can present, and this is important. So you click on present. Here you can choose whether you want to present your entire screen, a window, such as your browser, for example, a tab in your browser, for example. Normally, I just always click your entire screen. If you have something personal, you just close it before you open Google Meet. Then you click on the screen. Well, sorry, I'll show it again. Probably was too quick. Present your entire screen, then you need to click on the screen. It lets you to choose the screen because sometimes you have multiple screens. For example, if you have also a projector connected to your computer, it can be set up as separate screens where you have two. So you can share what you project or share, the actual screen of your computer. Anyway, normally it will be only one. So just click on it and choose share. Okay, now it's sharing my screen. And student can now screen my screen. It goes into infinite loop because it's all again on the same computer, but you get the idea how it works. Stop presenting. Multiple people can present at the same time, but usually if I ask a student to present, for example, it's a good way to give feedback remotely, so someone can share their works but just by sharing the screen. Like, you can also share files, but that's a straightforward, quick way, and you can show them maybe in software how to do this, how to do that. Very comfortable. So students can also present. Students can also raise a hand, which is nice. Now my audio is turned off, but normally to like make a ping, a sound that you will hear, and you will know someone has a question. So going back here, you see this notification appears, and if I go to students, you'll see there is a hand. So if I'm not ready to talk to the student right now, you can actually lower the hand. Never use it, but you can. Or you can just, say, "Oh, Gleb, what's up? Go ahead and make a question," and then the student can turn on their microphones and talk to you. They can also turn on their video cameras if they want. Yeah, so that's raising hand, that's presenting. One important thing is captions. Okay, so I believe the captions have to be turned on student's computer. So when you turn on captions, Google Meet will automatically generate captions. It puts points pretty randomly, but I believe the words are right. Maybe you just need to speak slowly and clearly. It works best in English. In other languages, it says better. Let me see again. Turn on. Here, English. So you can see that other languages are in beta. Not all of them. Some of them are okay. English works pretty fine. I have seen it in the past. It works pretty fine. So for those students that, for example, have hearing problems, like we have discussed in Matilde, you can use this option, which is pretty nice. Okay, so you let them open, for example, Google Meet on their phone. It has all the same options. There's Google Meet app, or on their computers, and they can just read what you say right away. So pretty comfortable. Okay. I believe that's more or less what we need to know about Google Meet. So I'm ending the call. Well, there are some additional settings here. I don't want to go through all of them. I don't even use all of them, to tell the truth, so you can figure it out. We don't have recording option because it is not included in our Google Workspace for Education plan. So you cannot record any videos, any meetings. Otherwise, you would normally be able to also record the meetings. If this is something important for your classes, then we can talk about it and maybe upgrade our plan and see if you really need it, get this feature. Then you can leave the call or just end the call for everyone. And this will also end the call on students' computer, okay, or phone, wherever they're watching you. So that's Google Meet. Now I'm not using Google Meet anymore, so I'll go to Manage and hide Google Meet from students so they don't go there on their own, because they can otherwise, and it will be pretty weird. Okay, so we have seen Google Meet, we have seen how to add people. Now let's go to classwork. How do you add assignments? And this is really amazing because Google Classroom allows you to add different kinds of assignments. Personally, I need to tell you that I'm only using this first simple assignment because it allows students to upload their projects, their files, and then I can give them a feedback. But in many of your courses, such as liberal arts courses, imaginary language courses, and stuff like that, adding a quiz assignment might be very helpful. I never used it. It requires usage of Google Forms. So if you have troubles figuring it out on your own, then I can research it for you and make another video. And there are also other options, questions, material. Again, I never used any one of those. So I'll just show you assignment, and then if you cannot figure out the other ones, we can work on it together. Okay. Reuse post probably will be like copying same assignment and just use a few modifications. So it's like just speeds up your work. Okay, let's create an assignment. Title, let's call it a midterm. Instructions. Submit your files here. Again, you can add materials to the assignment. You can really describe it in detail, even format it, at least, like just like your normal email. So it's pretty cool. You can really make it a proper instruction for an exam. You can choose which students to assign it to. Normally, would use all students. A cool thing is that if you have multiple classes, now I only have one, right? But if you have multiple classes, then you can assign the same assignment to multiple classes, which is great for those of you who have more than one class under the same title, or maybe same class with students divided in multiple groups. It spares you a lot of time. So check out this feature. Grading, okay, you can make it graded or ungraded. Later on I will speak a little bit more about grading settings, so you'll see how it works here in Google Classroom. Then due date, let's make it by next week. You can choose time, so it will be like by the end of the day, or you can choose by the end of the class or whatever. Then add a topic if you want, a rubric. Never use those, so can't tell you. Check for plagiarism. It's pretty cool. Like you can check if students are copying from one another. Never use the feature again because my projects are visual more than textual. But for some of you, like essays and stuff like that, I believe it might be helpful. So you can Google this feature out, or we can do it together if you have questions. That's all. Click on Assign. Takes a few seconds. Here you go. Now we have a new assignment. So let's quickly get back to students' perspective and see that in the stream we have one new message, and a click on it will take you to Google Classwork and then here. Okay, so I can see the instructions for the assignment, the title, the grading points, and I can turn in my work. Okay, so let's first see how it looks also on teacher's window. Right now I have one student that has got the assignment. No students turned it in. If I click on view assignment, again it takes me to the assignment window, and I see the same thing. 0 turned in, 1 assigned. let's add something. Again, here you have multiple options. You can add Google Docs, slide, sheets, drawings, like in whatever format students present their projects can be fine. They can also upload files if you need. They can add links if it's a like digital web-based project, or upload stuff from their Google Drives, which is also fine. So in this case, I'm just going to upload a file. Okay, it still will upload it to Google Drive anyway. So just drag and drop in an image. Okay, and then before turning in, I can do a few more things, or even after, I believe. But a few other things the student can do here is to add a comment, private comment to teacher. And here I can also add comments that everyone can see. Okay, so this is something all of the class will see, and this is something private. Turn in. Turn in. Okay, so after you submit, you still can add comments. So communication continues, but the project is already submitted. Let's go back to teacher's view. I refreshed the window. Actually, it already updated it on its own. So now I have one student turned in, 0 assigned, no other students are there. From here, I can open the assignment. Okay, and what I can do here is this. So first of all, I can add a grade. I'll say, okay, 95. I can respond to a comment, or I can just add a comment with evaluation explaining the grade. Then an interesting feature that I still didn't figure out how it works, you can actually add comments here. Okay, I believe those are comment banks, because sometimes you have recurrent things that you say to multiple students. So just you can quickly copy them and then paste here. For example, as you know, there are many common mistakes that students do. So instead of just rewriting it from scratch every time and having it in a separate file, you have your comments bank, and you just use them. You just can combine different, observations that are common in different works. Then one more thing that I didn't figure out yet is that you can actually comment directly on the work. If it's a textual document, then you can add comments directly inside the textual file. If it's an image, then you can do like this. But I still didn't figure out how students can see it, because right now I had to comment that. So I can reuse this. Okay, we'll see it right away. You just seen that it suggests me, if I start typing, it suggests me from the bank, so I can speed up my work. Pretty nice. You can use it with images. You can use it with Google Docs and like other files. And then when you have finished reviewing the project, you can click on return. Okay, and the student is supposed to get their feedback. So let's go back to students view. Okay, now it says graded. They still can resubmit, but if you allow. So I can see the grade for the project. I can open the image, and here I don't know how they can see the comments that I added, unfortunately. So this is still a thing I didn't figure out, but otherwise it would be very nice to have this feature so you can actually comment directly on top of visual files. So not sure. Okay, so that's how you add a classwork. Now let's speak about grading policy. Grading policy can be set in the settings. So just go here to settings. No, not here, sorry. Go to your class, then you go to class settings, and then you go to grading. So your Google Classroom can calculate an overall grade, but you don't necessarily have to do it. If you want, you can use this feature. If not, not, like everything else in Google Classroom. So your overall grade can be total points or weighted by category. So for example, we can create, I believe it's pretty useful, you can create a category, for example, midterm, and then it will be, say, 40%. And then you add one more category, which will be final, and it will be 60, which should make a sum of 100. Then you can make this grade visible to students or not. Well, let's make it visible to students to see how it looks on the other end. Save. Okay. Now if I go to grades, I will see that this student right now has 95 of 100 for this specific exam, midterm. The overall grade is not calculated, and this is because probably we didn't add a classwork for the final. So let's do that. Creating assignment, final. Fine. Okay. Test. Assign to all students. Category final. Because I also need to set the category in the assignment, of course. Due date, whatever. Assign. Then I go back to midterm and settings, and I need to choose midterm category. Okay, so now this exam will be 40% of the grade, and the final will be 60. Okay, great. Yeah, so now you see that midterm is 95, so I have a 95 for the student. The average of the class is also 95 because it's only one student, so that's what you have. From student point of view, let's go now to final assignment, and you can actually mark it as done without submitting anything. Maybe because, I don't know, you showed stuff to tutor in a critique during class or whatever. Or you can actually upload the file. And then turn in. Okay, so now we have the second classwork turned in. I can go back to the teacher's view. Okay, you see that the final now was turned in by the student, and I can actually grade him directly from here. So let's type 90. It saves. Then now it says draft, but to kind of confirm it, you need to return. You can add a private comment to student, cool work. Return. Okay, and now the average is 92. So it has calculated. It's not 93 because actually maybe let's change the grade so you can really see the impact. So let's say the 70. Return. Okay, so you can see it is closer to 70 because the value of the exams is not the same. In the same way, you can also add classwork, homework, divided by percentages, and then it will sum up the grade at the end. Students, let's see, students can see their results. For example, if I go to classwork, I can see the grade of the classwork, but I'm not sure where they see their overall grade. This is interesting. Okay, here. So you need to click here, open your work for Google Classroom. Here's my grade. Those are my assignments. Not really straightforward. Let's see from here. View your work. You can also get from here. Okay. So that's how you see from student point of view, that's how you see the overall progress. And this way students can, in a very transparent way, can monitor their progress. If you want, it could be a nice option to use. Let's see what else. Classwork grades. Well, I believe it's more or less it. Well, one last thing about exporting stuff from and archiving. Exporting and archiving. You cannot export midterm evaluations. Okay, you cannot export evaluations. You can only export grades. So you can, for example, copy grades to Google Sheets, and it will create a Google Sheets file under your account that you can then share with whoever needs to have it. For example, Léel. But it's only grades. It doesn't have any comments, evaluations, or feedbacks. So unfortunately, that's it. You can back up the files. So if you want to download all Google, submitted works, you can go here to Google Drive, and you see it has created a folder called Google Classroom Intro for Syriza. Then there are final and midterm, and you can download them, like all of them together, or one by one, or you can really manage those files as you want. A very good thing to use, because guys, we have a big problem with documentation of student work. If you want to use them on our website, nice social or whatever, like we want to show what students are creating at Syriza, we very rarely have the documentation. So if you ask students to submit all of their works through Google Classroom, then it guarantees that we have a backup of all of their works. So that's really something, probably even mandatorily has to be done at Syriza. So you can archive everything, backup everything, but there is one more option here. So if I go to classes, I can actually archive a class. Now that's something I didn't use before, but it might be an interesting feature to use. So let's see how it works. You click on the class menu, then you click on archive. It gives you a notice which is important to read. So when you archive a Google Classroom, it causes it to be archived for all participants. No one can do any changes anymore, nor you nor students. Archived classes can be modified by teachers or students unless restored, so you can restore them from the archive. This class will move to your archived classes. Class files will remain in Google Drive. So just you keep everything, including your midterm evaluations, including your final evaluations, including all of the files, all of the grades. It will all be archived and stored on Google. Okay, so let's click on archive. And if I go now to archive classes, which one was this one? This one. I can open it, and I can't really change anything, but I can go to classwork, I can go to assignment, I can click on the assignment, and I can see the comments. Again, not those I've placed directly on the image, so those probably are just comments for yourself, not for the student. So, but I can see the feedback here in the private comments between like communication between the student and you. So that's up to the school to decide if this kind of evaluation is enough, or we want to have a more organized feedback from teachers in one place, so registrar can access it when needed. Okay, I believe that's all I have to offer for today. So if you have any other questions about Google Classroom, then go ahead and ask. One last thing is that you can also try out Google Workspace Marketplace. There are pretty lot of apps that can integrate. It's like a plugin. Some of them are free, some of them are paid. So you can just type, for example, Classroom, and you will see that there are a lot of cool things that you can integrate to Google Classroom. Some of that might be pretty helpful, some of that maybe not. I don't know. Some of it can just speed up your work. So I'm leaving it up to you to check it out. Okay, so thank you for today. If you have questions, let me know. Ciao.